started.
Here we go, Super King. D4. Let's try D5. And C6, the Slav defense. Yeah, and he plays knight f3 to prevent the 1 hour gambit. Very sensible. I think I will just play with knight bd7 and e3, so the pawn triangle set up. I can take here at some time. Well, not anymore. It's probably not good to take here. Let's get the bishop up to d6. So if he pushes ahead with c5, I can drop back to c7. And then I want to stop a pin on this knight. Okay, that was a wasted move. Because he put his bishop on b2, so there was no pin here. Okay, so I'm expecting he will play his knight here shortly. Shortly he will play his knight to e5. But if he doesn't play it there, then I will play the move pawn to e5. e5, pawn takes. Knight takes, bishop takes, rook takes. Am I worse in that position? The rook is loose. Is there a tactic on it? The queen or something? Knight? The other knight could come in, but yeah, I think it's okay. And then he can exchange here and give me a isolated queen's pawn. Maybe that's a problem. I can take back with my knight, I guess. But it seems worthwhile. Yeah, I can take back with a piece here. It seems worthwhile to get rid of that strong dark squared bishop. And my light squared bishop here is a decent piece, even though I do have a light squared pawn here in the center. I have an open file for it. Yeah, so he hits the rook immediately. The question is, can I gainfully employ the rook over here, like on h5? Yeah, it's always a bit dangerous. The rooks get chased around a lot. How about if I go back to e7, prepare to double on the e-file. He's put his rook opposite my queen. Let's go ahead and... Oh no, if I do that right away, he's playing here with check, so I can't do that right away. Let's get my queen off of the off of the D file, so I can take back here without having a piece be pinned. No nasty pins. So this should be okay, or is it? The knight there, that's interesting. So if knight takes, I need to take with a pawn, because otherwise this knight is undefended. If I move the knight away and he takes, I have to take back with the pawn, because otherwise I'm losing the exchange. Yeah, that looks like a good move. So I can move the knight with tempo by attacking the queen. Here or here. Knight here, pawn takes, bishop takes, queen takes, rook takes. I get 2 pawns for the knight. Probably not enough. Almost certainly not enough. And if I go here with the knight, the queen can move, attacking my knight. Well, then maybe I could take his bishop, and then he has a choice of recapturing the knight or the bishop. I guess it's worth a try. It's better than sitting there and letting him mess up my pawns, it seems. Seems to me. So he has no time to take the bishop. He's got to do something about the attack on his queen. And now, oh, my knight's not even under attack. I guess his idea is to come here with the queen, take back with the queen. Yeah, I guess I don't have anything better than exchanging off that bishop. So I can grab a pawn over here. I don't know if I should. Is the knight getting trapped there? Knight here, rook here, and the knight has no squares, right? They're all covered. Okay, so let's just bring the knight back to the center. Rook takes, pawn takes, knight takes is a fork, but I've given up a whole rook. So again, that'll be like I'll get a rook for the, I'll get the exchange back, so effectively that's a knight for 2 pawns again. He's got knight to d6. Okay, he's hitting hitting g7, so bring my knight there. The queen's not taking it. Knight there, I take with the king and defend the knight. Oh, knight here. Knight takes here, check. Oh no, that doesn't work because the rook's defending the knight. Okay. This is a common tactic. I've fallen for it recently, where knight takes on h6 check, and you take back with a pawn, and you have a loose knight hanging here. So you've just given up a pawn for nothing, effectively, and messed up your pawns in front of the king. So maybe this isn't too bad, although that's a great post for the knight. So if I pause to defend the b pawn, then the knight can hop into d6, but I don't see how to prevent that anyway. On the other hand, that's not so scary. I can kick the queen. He can take my rook, and I can just take back with the queen, right? And he can take here with either the queen or the knight. So if he takes with the queen, I'm developing my rook with a tempo. If he takes with the knight, okay, he took with the queen. Can try and get on to the 7th rank here. Okay, this is this is one of those situations. Knight takes h6 check, king moves, and his queen is hanging. But if I take the knight, then he takes my knight because it's not defended. It's tricky, 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 tricky. That I wasn't afraid of. But this, okay, so here is a problem. So let's move my king. That won't help. Okay, I need to defend that knight. Sometimes it helps if the knight h6 doesn't come a check, but in this case, it would just be losing a pawn. Because if the king were on h7, with the queen there, I can't retake the knight anyway. Maybe knight h4 is an idea here. Knight h5. Knight h5 hitting the queen. Queen has to stay in touch with the knight. So the queen can go to f3, G4. Actually, G4 is a bit embarrassing because it attacks here. Okay. King to H7, followed by the move G5, harassing the queen that way. That's funny, he was thinking along the same lines as me. I could never play G6, unfortunately, because the pawn on H6 was hanging. So now I can play either knight or queen to... let's get the queens off. He's got too many threats, and I just can't deal with them all. But if I get the queens off, maybe I can get my rook to the 7th rank. Yeah, so he's not going to allow that. Okay, is there a tactic on G4 here? Knight takes, pawn takes, queen here, check. It would be, if it's not defended, it would be a tactic, but it's defended currently. Okay. See if I can get my knight to a more active square. Maybe knight to... yeah, he could play that. Knight here. So I just drop my queen back to E5, and it's eyeing the square G3 in front of the king. Which the knight is covering, so it's not a threat. The rook, the queen, and the knight are both on this. Okay, so now he's making threats. Now he is making threats. Oh, that's dangerous here. Huh? So if the knight moves, it's with check. But I can harass his queen. So if the knight moves with check, I can take the queen. Buy myself a little bit of time that way. If I moved my king away, I was just losing the H-pawn, and otherwise there was no good square on this diagonal. So he just needs to retreat along this diagonal, and I have the same problem. Okay, but he went over there, hitting my rook. Let's go here. Now this threatens queen to H7. H2, queen H2, that's a threat. And he doesn't have a check right now. He didn't do anything about it.
Checkmate.
Whoa. Well, that was a sudden end. That was a really tense game. I think my opponent
challenge.
had a good attack there. Okay, I'll go ahead and play him another game. But I'll do a
started.
I'll do a postmortem on this one. See you guys later. Bye.